would anybody be interested in me doing a review on these? I mean, we have a electric 3020 and the light right here. And you might be surprised which one I like the best. It's interesting. It's kind of a consensus amongst the three different people that bought these bikes, which ones we like better. But anyway, we've got some various accessories that we've added onto them and so on and so forth. Drop it in the comments if you want to hear what we think. I buy a lot of interesting things, and we get a lot of neat stuff from time to time on our channel, on our household. It's not, and I'm trying to include it in our channel. I mean, I just led off with that video about the electric bikes. Anybody care? Comment, like, subscribe, make it known that you want us to talk about our experiences with those things. Next week, I'm doing something I've always wanted to do, but always talk myself out of spending the money, and I'm renting some fancy camera gear because I am a photographer. I used to make a living from it 2 decades ago, and so I'm renting the Pentax monochrome camera, and I'm renting a Sony ZV E10, whatever it is, and a couple lenses, and taking a week off from work because I need to in order to not lose my vacation time. And we're gonna go photoing and videoing and having a great time, and hey, if you guys want to know our experiences, or if you want us to share, please post that, make comments, get some chat going, hit us up on our Facebook page, hit us up on our Instagram page, hit us up on Pinterest, something. We got lots of things we're trying to do. I'd greatly appreciate that. Anything you can do to help us raise awareness of our channel and get more people on it, that would be greatly appreciated too, because the more people that watch us, the more people that subscribe, the more people that view, the more people that like and comment, the more resources we're going to have to do more things. So again, if you want us to talk about our electric bikes, put it out there. If you want us to talk about the tools we got around here, I got a lot of different tools. I've been doing a lot of things. Before YouTube was a thing, I built this house. Before YouTube was a thing, I restored my 1971 Spitfire that's sitting over there under our tarp because I haven't been able to get to it for quite a while, and there's a whole story behind that. There was some negative marital relations that came about with that vehicle came around, and I don't know if that vehicle was a seed for him or just fertilizer for the seed that was already there, but makes me a little gun shy working on that one. And I have another one in the barn. I have a Triumph GT6 that I'd love to do a complete frame off restoration. I mean, those cars are rare, and I've got a fully complete model sitting out there underneath a bunch of insulation that's supposed to be in my Quonset hut by now, but my Quonset hut still isn't up. And yeah, well, if you want to hear about that, you'll have to see the other videos. Anyway, long story short, if you want us to do stuff, participate in what we're doing, like, subscribe, hit the buy me a coffee, go to our Facebook page, drive our numbers, please help us get these corporate monsters that make billions off of our entertainment and our education and just our existing lives, share a little bit of that wealth with me so that I can do the things that you guys enjoy. It ultimately makes them more money too. So at any rate, thanks. A couple of weeks ago, we made a road trip, long road trip. Drove from here to Ogden, Utah, and it was nice here, and then it rained all the time we were there and snowed on the way back, but it was a nice trip. We stayed at a really nice place. We had a good time. Talked to Mark Boyce at Boyce Equipment quite a while, spent most of our morning there, and that was worth it. I mean, we had a good time there. I managed to keep my wife from buying more trucks. She's got the bug. I look at them and see the work. Although there was a couple of 5 tons in his back lot that had dump bodies on them, and that was interesting. I'm yeah, still thinking about that, but that'd be a little bit harder to do. Our primary goal was to get a few parts. I'll splice in a bunch of stuff here that in this video that's talking about the what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what it's for. But we had a good time. We didn't take as much video as we probably should have, especially at Boyce Equipment, because that place is packed. I mean, miles of piles of spare parts and vehicles, and it was worth it. It was worth the trip. And Mark, thank you so much. Got your t-shirt on. And we had a good time. Managed to get rid of a bunch of tires and rims that didn't fit my truck. Much as they look like they should, they did not. And got tire chains for our big truck, so when it's super icy out, I won't be doing wheelies or cookies in the middle of the street, or as my wife and I are both afraid of doing sometime, is sliding off a mountain pass somewhere. Because 30-some thousand pounds of vehicle and RV body and everything else you got in the back of it, those tires only have so much grip on ice, and then they have so much more momentum, and it drives for you. So with that in mind, we got tire chains. I got 2 sets, one for the front axle, one for the rear axle, and that way we can maybe keep the headlights pointing forward, as it were. But that was our primary goal, and Mark gave us a good exchange, and with that we were able to do some other things. Got myself the new headlight switch for my Jeep. I'll mention that in some of the video I'm probably going to have in the rest of this. And oh yeah, and new fuel gauge. Is that right side up? Yeah, it looks like it. Anyway, that's going to be been having troubles with the fuel system on the fuel gauge system on the M715 for quite some time. So hopefully that will rectify that and put me online to have an idea how much further I can go before I run out of gas. So at any rate, here's the rest of the video, and we're going to keep going on that and try to make some progress for getting somewhere with our vehicles. Enjoy. It's way too early on a Sunday morning. We're going to Ogden. The things I do for my big truck.
Exactly.
We'll check in with you as we go. This is why we don't take a whole lot of video while driving across Wyoming. Just like, what is there to see? Just road, going on and on. Sagebrush. In Wyoming, you should never pass a rest area. Always stop. This is a load for a half-ton truck. The reason you never pass a rest area in Wyoming is it's a long ways in between stops. Isn't that nice?
It is nice.
Look at this. We got irises over here blooming.
Oh wow. Pretty.
Yeah. Have to walk around out there a little bit, huh? In the snow.
In the snow.
In May. Wow. Well, we should probably get the rest of our stuff in, but look at the river over there. Gushing.
Oh, wow.
Maybe tomorrow it'll be dry enough we can sit in the chairs. Doubt it.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, pretty.
We should go finish loading and stop letting all the heat out of our place.
Okay. I can't even see him. I gotta remember, I don't have a fancy camera.
Thanks for talking while I was recording. We should probably get some kind of plastic or something to put on these fenders so that when these are down they don't scratch, because there's a permanent little half circle right there. Chunk of that grill guard stuff that they have, not grill guard, but the paint chip mask stuff that they put on new cars. It's been sitting for a long time. Past time to change the oil in it. Pretty dark looking. I think I'll fire it up and get it warmed up so that it comes out of there a little better. This top deal is going to be interesting to work out. Yes, I got it here. There's just a plate here, this front windshield brace. Not exactly a lot to attach to here. And if you look at the way the front end of this thing is set up, bad too, but yeah, it just kind of has a straight wall. Told that's supposed to just sit over the top of this, just kind of like the canvas does. Like that. This is hooked into the rail underneath. I'm wondering if what I can do. Kind of thinking on the back there on the wall, you know, it's supposed to fit down kind of like this. I'm wondering if I took and put these guys on the fiberglass and then got some new straps like this made. And I'd just strap it down just like this is strapped. I can do that with the fiberglass and that'll hold the backing down. Looks like I could probably tap holes in those plates over there. And bolt it down on the back. But that front's going to present an issue. The rubber gasket across there would probably do wonders. And then maybe some kind of attachment point on the side. I don't know. That'll be a fun thing to figure out. Like I said, I want to be able to take it on and off, on and off. Because I like this top. Right in. And I think it's going to be worth it. This, by the way, is the 12-volt power supply that they put in this when they made it into a fire truck. It is way more than I need for output. 16 amps continuous 20 amp surge for what few 12-volt things I've added to this stuff. And the box that is there is just resting on top of the battery box. And in my attempts to build a cable harness with a disconnect on it, I need to do some more fixing on that. But the idea was to be able to hook it up, disconnect it, carry it out, and keep it down to just a few wires here and there, you know. But still working on it. So, looking a little bit dusty in here. Looking a bit dirty underneath the mats. Boy, these things are a game changer. I mean, my goodness. Horse stall mats. So much quieter in here now. But anyway. Got a back window to put in that fiberglass top too, so that's going to be a project. Haven't done that in decades. So that'll be entertaining. Wind was blowing the other day. My weight for keeping that down was not near enough weight. Well, the crate of glass insulators was, but firewood was not. In case you're wondering, this is, I used to have a 24-volt battery maintainer hooked up in here. And that's where it was hooked up at. Oh, looks like my record game sticker has kicked the bucket. You know, only good for so long. Need to get a new seat cover here too. Looks like I'm gonna have to do something about the foam. Well, it's not foam. Rubberized horse mat. Need to replace that back seat cover there too, but that's another story. Always a challenge. And, you know, it's an old vehicle. You can see where the paint's been rubbed off and chipped up in here. And these are just stickers. And I've got the stencils this time, so I'll be putting on the stencils when I do it. Oh, I wonder how that got broke. Huh. Anyway, and yeah, that one got rubbed off. That one over there is damaged too. But yeah, good convenient place to store the lawnmower. Yeah, that's the projects for today. Maybe. Let you watch it start up here. Gonna do a cold start. I don't think I've started this for Ooh, month plus. See what happens here. Yeah, it's been a couple of months. Batteries need to be charged up. What that means, I get an excuse to dig out the diesel generator that I got, or Jumpstart these things, so that'll be fun. Well, I'm gonna let this sit in the sun a bit, warm up. You can see what we got going here. 28 volt diesel single cylinder jump starter generator and a pair of cables. Somebody made those up and put them on eBay for me, so I'm sure this isn't the standard cabling that would be on there, but I like the red and the black, so I bought their set instead of some of the other ones that just had black and black. Unscrew in the jump point. Now this has the European style jump point. Pig snout. And oh, this might take two hands. There we go. There is the American style. So I do have the adapter, but I'd show the difference. And the adapter is right here. There, that's all there is to it. And that's all there is to it. Oops. Let's see here. Fuel is on. Tank has fuel in it. Not a lot. That is on. That is set. A little bit warmed up. Let's see if we can start it. Oh. Maybe we should see if it'll. I got enough battery in there to start it the electric way. Kind of cheating. Nope, don't have enough battery. Huh. Might take a while to get this thing going. Oh, yeah, set the compression lock off. Holy buckets. get the air through the system. More fuel. Since you can't see what I'm doing, and maybe you can barely hear me talking, I'm not sure. What I'm doing is bleeding the air line or air out of the fuel line to the high pressure fuel pump. Because between the fuel pump and the high pressure pump, the line was all dry. And yeah, you're not going to start there in the ejector. Maybe if I pulled it a couple hundred times, I get it all out, but I'm not that strong. It's a diesel, it's warming up. Okay, connected up my headphones this time. Hopefully this is working. And we're going to try again because found a number of things that were less than superior in the electrical connection. So set this to run. Turn the compression off. At least the engine's warm this time. What did I do wrong? There we go. Keep the mosquitoes down. Well, you probably didn't hear it, but keep started. The extra smoke is coming from the Jeep. Quiet that thing down. I don't think my batteries were actually low. I think my um, cutout switch was loose. So, needless to say, it started to red up when it had power. Hopefully you're getting some engine noise. But there we are. Engine's running. Little label. There it is. That's a little better now. Doesn't like sitting in idle. Especially doesn't like sitting. Back on the headphones here. Hopefully that's giving some background noise, but as you can see, it's still running decent. Considering I haven't driven it anywhere or done anything with it for probably since November. But I got a new fuel gauge, so we're gonna see if we can't fix that up. I got new fuel sender before. I'll have to check that out and see if that's part of the problem or not. Waiting for the temp to rise. It's not rising. I'm hoping I don't have an air bubble in there because it sat so long. Had that happen before. Oil pressure is pretty high, but good. It's not over high. So, and it shows that it's charging like a son of a gun. Amazing. There. Get the glare off the gauge. So, I also got a new one of these switches. Well, this here switch, probably too close for focus, but you're supposed to have to pull this up. See, the spring is gone. Supposed to have to pull that up in order to change anything, but got a new switch because I'm worried that one of these days the spring that broke in there is going to fall into something to make a sparky mess. But as you can see, I got everything back in place. Turn on my rear backup lights, and there we go. That turns on the 12-volt power supply, which powers the radio. I'm sure it'll start playing a song here in a second, and I'll have to take it off. And obviously, that powers the CV. Yep, starts to play a song. But anyway, you can see the voltage regulation there with the USB charging points, and this is by USB audio or aux-in that connects back to this boat stereo. Figured probably no one's going to steal the boat stereo. That's, it doesn't lock. So here we are. See what our radiator looks like. Cold, got a little pressure in it. See down there? I'd like to take this radiator and just get it clean, boiled out. Oh, never trust it. think I'm going to top it up just a little bit just to be safe. Here we got this jug. Oh, mostly full. Give you the bird's eye view here, maybe. Oh, probably over full, but I've had problems with air bubbles getting into this hose on top of the engine, and then that prevents it from opening and closing. Stop there. How's the engine room for one? Starting to warm up. Make sure the heater's on. Yep, it is. Yay, the gauge is moving. So there's an air bubble in there, hopefully. Oops. Better put the lid on. Put the lid on backwards. There we go. Open the garage door. Access to fresh water. So rinse this stuff down. See what our blow by looks like. Definitely got some condensation building up in there. That's what it looks like when you get a little too much humidity in your oil. I don't like that at all. Need to drive this thing more. Way more. Prevent this shit from happening. There's the oil snot. What else to describe it like? Drive this thing hot, get this thing thoroughly warmed up so I get all that out of there. But a new oil change would help with that too. Check that temp gauge again. See how that's looking. Well, there's heat coming out of the heater. Says it's at 100. Rev it up a little bit, see if the camera falls over. What is that noise? I need to replace the fan belt. They were on it when I bought it, and I have another set. And I've noticed that those ones are starting to fray a little bit. Making some funky noises. maybe you can see this, but got matched GE 24 volt military headlights. I believe these are the original headlights. Don't know, but I believe that's the case. So. A little better view of the engine. Wow, it looks like that water pump's wobbling just a little bit. Lovely. I wonder if I can get a water pump for this thing. That would be a challenge. Another project, I think. Well, probably getting warmed up enough to change oil. Let me go check, but then I want to take a minute to talk about some things here that are kind of important. This channel, I mean, a lot of people think we're kind of like preppers. Neighbors, people around here think we're into the prepping thing or whatever, and we've encountered other people that seem to think that that's what we were, or what we're going after here with this big truck of ours and our old military trucks. And you know, well, I'm not exactly a collector. Honestly, at my budget rate, I'm lucky to have a running vehicle most of the time. So that I have these vehicles has kind of been, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse. Anyway, you know, it's important though that I come across with some points about what we're doing here. We're trying to build a retirement for ourselves. We're trying to improve our situation so that in 10 short years, when my job ends, because of that'll be eligible for retirement at that point, and shorter for Lynn, and we've got something to do, something to say, something to be a part of, because so many of our family and people we know have gone over the edge of 65 and not had a plan, not had a goal, not had a reason to get up and do something in the morning. And quite a few of those people too have lost their significant others, had everything go south on them at the last minute, bad health. I mean, a good man that used to live up the road from us 10, 15 years ago. He was 6 months from retiring out at the coal mine here, and he had a heart attack and died in the middle of his shift. I mean, the coal mines are as far from the hospital as you can pretty much get in Wyoming. You're an hour plus drive time, and yeah, there was no, you have a heart attack at the mine, you're gonna die. And it was really sad because he had a robust retirement plan. He'd taken up gunsmithing and he was really good at it, and he had set up his shop and he was getting ready to retire, and he was just gonna putz around playing with guns and making muzzle brakes and perfecting the art, and he just died, and it broke his wife's heart. She didn't even last 6 months after he died. They were outwardly healthy people. I mean, as far as we knew, they were healthy. Anyway, go on to that for too many minutes and I'll waste all my time. And then we've had our relatives that have retired and sat still and have had absolutely miserable lives. And the last few years of their lives have been extra miserable because they were just sick, from sitting and watching TV. I've watched enough TV in my lifetime. I don't need to spend the rest of my life watching TV. In fact, right now I watch quite a bit of YouTube, but most of the time it's kind of more oriented along the lines of edutainment. I'm trying to learn things. And the purpose of starting this YouTube channel kind of predates the vehicle that we purchased, the MTVR, because I was thinking about this. It's like, if you don't have a reason to get up in the morning, a justification, a job, if you will, what do? How do you keep going? I mean, it's easy, especially as you get older and things don't work as good as they used to, or they complain more when you try to use them, to just stop doing stuff. I mean, putz around the yard and watch TV. Seems relatively painless, although it, as I've seen in relatives, it makes for more pain later. And so I wanted to start a YouTube channel before we got the truck, just from the standpoint of I wanted to document the stuff that we did, and in that effort to create more content and do more things that would be a reason to get up and get going in the morning and go do stuff. And that's what I've been working on. I'm trying to involve my wife in it. Lynn is interested in it, but she's having a hard time with mobility, which translates into a hard time just getting up and doing stuff. And we're pretty private people. We don't do stuff in public very often. So the idea of doing a YouTube channel and sharing so much, it's kind of the opposite of how we live. So, it makes it challenging. And, we need you guys' help, basically. I can make YouTube videos that aren't very exciting and aren't very enjoyable, and just use that as a crutch to keep me going. And maybe that'll work. Chances are, if I'm not getting a lot of positive feedback out of it, it probably won't. I would rather do stuff that's edutaining and that people would find worth watching and worth interacting with us, and maybe even worth supporting, beyond just subscribing and liking. We've done a lot of things long before there was miniature video cameras and YouTube channels, and heck, I remember doing stuff in the 90s with internet that people were going, what? And now it's just commonplace. I mean, my life would have been a whole lot different if the people I needed to support me then saw what I saw, but they didn't. So here I am today doing something else. We really do want to do some interesting stuff. We're planning on building a RV out of our big truck, and we're going to take it places. I mean, we got the trailer, so we can take the Jeep with us. We got things we want to do with the Jeep. I mean, I kind of been exploring, given some of the parts that the engine uses are getting non-existent or extremely expensive. Some of the common parts, I mean, if I want to keep the military style ignition on there, the spark plugs, I've got one more set. And I was talking to Mark Boyce at Boyce, and maybe I shouldn't say, but he says he has one more set as well, although his website says he doesn't have any. So he's probably hoarding his last set of military spark plugs. I'll show you the difference here, because I happen to have my lone set sitting right here. If you notice, the plug has this metal cap on it, and that's what makes them different. And the M715 Kaiser Jeep 232 Tornado engine uses a unique spark plug dimension. It's not the same as an MB Jeep, although you can get away with using those. Not exactly recommended, but you know, if I switch it over to a civilian distributor, I can get spark plugs for it still, probably forever. But, you know, there's some really neat technologies out there. I was looking the other day at the Ford and GM electric conversion kit motors that they were selling. And, you know, 200 horsepower, that's not much by a lot of other vehicles. And they probably have more horsepower now because that was a year ago. But that's more horsepower and torque than the current six-cylinder engine produces in it. So, and from what I can gather from the dimensions of the kits, because I was looking at them when they were pre-sale and not actual sale, and I believe they're actual sale now. I'd have to go look again. Try not to, because it's just depressing to look at that big price tag and realize, well, you know, it would work, except I don't have that money. But from what I can tell, the engine, the electric motor, is the same size as the four-speed transmission. And since the M715 has a divorced transfer case, there's a drive shaft off the back of the transmission that goes into the transfer case. So I could easily put that drive shaft into the back of an electric motor and put an electric motor where the transmission is. And then there's a very large space where the gas tank is. There's an equally large space on the opposite side of the vehicle underneath the back of the bed that, without the exhaust system running through it, would be a very viable spot. Then there's all the underhood space, and you'd still be able to keep the radiator in there to use for cooling for the motor and everything. And it'd be interesting. I think we can make a really nice, long-range, old-fashioned still Jeep with an electric drivetrain. And it wouldn't be that expensive compared to some of these other projects that other people are doing. So, you know, if you want to help us do that, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link. I hope I've got that set up right. Please let me know if I do not. But, you know, if throw some money at it, tell us what it's for. I'll put it aside. I won't spend it on other stuff. I would rather see the project happen than not. Same thing happens. Same thing with building the camper on the back of that truck, our Shrek, as we call him. I mean, there's a lot to that project in my mind, in my plan. I mean, we're triple redundant electrical system, heating for the basement, the batteries, and the hot water, and running it off the engine, and solar power, and insulating the case, and building the box on the back of it. I mean, I've pretty much decided I'm going to do a stick-built, as they say, construction and I'm going to use the existing bed, and I'm going to use some of the existing compartment space that's under the bed and along the fender well, or along the bed, under the bedside where the wheels are. And I'm going to put in at least, I can't even say right now the numbers, but a lot of battery capacity, a ton of battery, well, probably a couple tons of battery capacity. Why not? Got the room for it. And, you know, same thing with fresh water and gray water and black water and recirculating systems. And I want to put in a filtration system that would allow me to purify any water I find, and even allow me to recycle my gray water if I wanted to. I want to make that all just a matter of choosing the right set of switches and flipping it over, and away it goes. And you know, that's going to take a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of interesting developments, a lot of interaction with people that know more than I do, because there are lots of people that know more than I do. I'm fully convinced of that. But, that's going to be a heck of a project to get started in. And we're going to cover a lot of ground that other people have covered. Maybe it'll be different. Probably it'll be weird and unusual, but it'll be interesting. And, and we got the whole kinds of things with that. And then on top of that, I've got 7 acres of land I bought 6-7 years ago over in Casper, and I got a Quonset hut sitting over there on a pallet that I need to do concrete for it. I need to set up the to get power on that lot would cost me as much as it would cost to put in like a 4,000 watt solar array. I mean, the batteries would be on top of that, but hey, you have to pay the monthly bill for electricity, so I might as well just go off grid over there, and that would be a lot of fun to video and do, but I really need some help here, guys. Subscribe, like, promote, share, tell people about us, help us get this going. The next 10 years could be filled with one project after another and covering some serious ground and making some serious progress and exploring some interesting technologies. I mean, if I get the Quonset hut up and make it a lot easier to build the trucks. I'm going to build the trucks whether I get the Quonset hut up or not. Someday I'd like to have another house over there, I'm building that house. I mean, I've got drawn up plans for a all insulated concrete form ICF building with a lot of main level, one level living, and integrated into a greenhouse and a passive cooling and heating system, as well as active cooling and heating system, plus all of the solar and the water on that particular area where we're at. The easy to get water is not the best water. The hard to get water is very hard to get, and the easiest to get water is salt water. So I got a purification system in that can turn any water into clean drinking water, and then I've got to store enough of it that the purification system can keep up with all of the watering needs that I'd like to use, because having a greenhouse attached to the house, is the idea behind that is it's making for better air in the house, and it's a way to heat the house in the wintertime. It's we can isolate it and cool it from within a passive ground system for air in the summertime, and there's all kinds of neat things we could do and incorporate a lot of existing technologies and neat technologies that haven't exactly been explored or aren't very common in America, but are out there. I mean, there's some smart people out in this world, and they're doing some really neat things, and I'd like to join them and do some of those things, and especially for the next 20 years while I still can. And getting Shrek built into a full-time RV, and then taking it places. I mean, my wife really has always wanted to do an Alaska trip, and I always thought it'd be kind of fun to take my time and hit all the little side roads and mountain passes and all that, and do that. I think that'd be a blast. Inversely, there's a lot of North America I'd like to see that isn't on the way to Alaska too. So, again, we need help. We need financial help to make this happen. I'm going to do the best I can with what I got, and while what I got is enough to get started, it's difficult to see the end based on the kind of income we currently have. So, if you can get us pumped up there in the 30,000 subscriber level so that we're getting a monthly check from YouTube, that would be amazing. I mean, I realize it probably won't be that much, and YouTube's trying really hard not to pay anybody if it can avoid it, but that's what we're after. I mean, if we can get paid, if we can do sponsorships or something, it would be a wonderful thing. And it would allow me to spend more time actually doing these things. Because right now I've got to keep it focused on my job. And, we're not preppers. We're not trying to prepare for shit hits the fan. Those people that are doing that, they're just foolish. I'm sorry. That's probably a little too blunt. It's not possible to prepare for every possible situation on a rational budget. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg or whoever can build 6 or 7 different compounds all over the world so that they can go to the right place for the kind of environmental disaster or political disaster that befalls us as a human race. But you and me and the next guy, we're going to be there. And honestly, why do you want to survive that? It's not going to be better after. These people that talk about shit hits the fan. It's not going to be better after. There's no political revolution. There's no civil war. There's no nuclear war. There's no zombie apocalypse that the living after it is going to be half as fun or adventurous as they think it will be. Any of those things are going to make life so completely miserable and so utterly lonely that, I mean, in this day and age, people just don't have that kind of isolation in their lives normally. And the people that think that they want that are trying to have that, a lot of them struggle with emotional and psychological issues their entire life. And I'm not trying to provoke anybody here, and I don't want to get anybody's guile up or guard up or whatever. I just, why would you want to survive that? That being said, I have a little bit of a hoarding issue myself, and obviously I buy parts and project pieces when I have the money, so that when I have the time and probably don't have the money, I can do the projects. But that doesn't always work out, and sometimes I buy stuff twice because I forgot I already did that, and that's kind of embarrassing when you go to start a project and you realize, oh look, I bought twice the 2x4s I needed because I bought them 2 years ago and last year, but I didn't buy any of the screws that I needed. Things like that. Anyway, yeah, that's what we do here. And that's what we're trying to do with our channel. I would greatly appreciate people that would want to join us, be a part of our ride, want to participate. I'd love to work with other YouTubers and other people that are doing these projects and everything, because this stuff interests me. I'm not in this to make money. And yes, I did make a money plea a few minutes ago, but that's because it's like, I don't need the cash, I need the resources. I don't need the notoriety or the fame or the IRS problems from having that kind of stuff falling in my lap. I just need lap. I just need to be able to do these things and not be punished for them. Because when you're using a credit card to finance stuff, you're setting yourself up for punishment. Yeah. Anyway, that's my little spiel, and it's gone way too long. Thanks.